Game Over is the name of the book written by Winter Ramos. Now, you remember Winter. She's on a little show called Love and Hip Hop. Great. Congratulations. But really, this is the scandalous chick that keeps denying we went on a half a date or two. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for the listeners who missed it the first time, Winter, did you hook up with Ciph?
First
I
of
never
all,
said that.
Winter, did you hook up with Ciph?
Never. First of all, we went not on a date. We went to dinner because I did him a favor. And he repaid me by taking me out to my favorite restaurant, which at the time was Chin Chin. So there was never a date. It wasn't like, oh, hey, how you doing? What's your name? And try to get with me. We met on business. He wanted to do an interview with Fab. I got him the interview in the middle of a rainstorm.
Mm-hmm. Looked out.
I made it happen. And he said,
why would she do that for somebody that she wasn't
Spanish,
feeling?
dog. I looked out for my people. And it was my job, and I was very good at my job.
Well, you were Fab's assistant at the time.
Right, I was Fab's assistant at the time. It was like the Puerto Rican Day Parade or something, and it was an after party.
Definitely
it was a
after party.
torrential downpour.
Wow.
I stood outside with security under an umbrella while he sat in a van and did this interview that Fab absolutely did not want to do.
She's right. She's correct. She doesn't lie.
So he said, exactly.
She just has a horrible memory.
To me, I got you. Dinner, whatever you want. So it was like a payback. That's not a date.
Guys always think if a girl says yes to dinner, it's a
And
date.
she's feeling you.
As long as you spend over $200, it's a date.
Well, and Chin
Damn.
Chin is expensive
Pretty
and
nice date,
delicious.
right? And it was,
And she yelled out, bring me more shrimp.
No, I don't even eat that Grand Marnier shrimp. That shit is gross.
Oh, the Grand Marnier shrimp's amazing.
I don't eat that. I eat the filet mignon and broccoli.
All that being said, she has a new book out, right? It's called Game Over. Now, in this book, she was never romantically involved with Fab, but she was his assistant for a long time, which got her around a lot of people. No, you probably around people before that, right?
I was around a lot of people prior to that. I was,
And they're
it was
all
just,
in this
I'm around
book
a lot.
being exposed.
Now you know this book is going to say some special things, Ciph. Because how often do you see a book where the author shows her foot ankle tattoo on the cover of the book?
I think she's more showing her shoes to stun
not
these
showing.
bitches.
I'm showing everything. That was just the best picture that came out, face wise, and that was just. It's not about the shoes. It's not about the tattoo. I mean, the tattoo looks pretty nice. I think the tattoo looks better than the shoes.
Is anyone upset about this book and what's being said in the book?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have the same phone number, so I haven't had any conversations with anyone about the book. If you watch the show, you know there's a young lady in the book who's a cast member who has a problem with what was in the book.
Who's that? Erica?
Kay Fox's old friend.
But
L'Oreal.
L'Oreal.
Yeah.
You don't say the name anymore?
I mean, I don't want to make it about that. The show's over.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about, the book. I don't really want to make it about the show. But for me, that's the only person who's had any issues in reference to it. I haven't gotten any calls from anyone. The publisher hasn't gotten any calls.
Well, the book just came out, literally just came out today, right?
The book came out today.
So people don't know that they're in it. Maybe they were probably hoping that they weren't.
I think people know that they're in it. I've done plenty of interviews and they've asked,
names?
who's in the book. And
So
I've named
Jadakiss
names.
doesn't have no problem with
I mean,
this.
we even put out a chapter online that we sold for 99 cents that named, a few people.
Here's the thing about the book. Did you contact people that you knew were going to be in a book and say, hey, I'm writing this book, just letting you know you're in it?
Some people, I felt like, let me reach out. I reached out to Emily and I let her know, the book is about her and I's relationship, not so much of her and Fab's relationship. So, she was cool. She didn't have a problem with it.
Do you think that she had because let me see, there's a little excerpt in the book. She'd been around enough rappers to know they rarely stayed faithful. She just chose not to make a big deal out of it for whatever her reasons were. She just played her position because no matter how many females he was fucking, Emily was the one he loved. Now, you were Fab's assistant at the time.
I was his assistant before they got together.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there when they met.
So do you think she felt a certain way because you may have been privy to certain information and not
we had some issues about that, but her and I had to have a conversation about that. I'm here to do a job. You and I built this relationship because we're the only women in this house. And, I really liked her. And we bonded. She confided in me in a lot of things that I never went back and told him. So, you can't expect me to tell you what he's doing. And I felt like she knew. And why add fuel to the fire? You may think he's sleeping with 3, but I know it's 27. Why would I go to you and say, well, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You don't do stuff like that to hurt her even more when she's in this situation, it's like she's here. I know how he felt about her. So whatever anybody wants to say about, oh, I didn't know that, bullshit. That was I've never seen that man treat any woman in his life the way he treated her. So I knew at that moment when she moved in and she came in, I knew this is the one. She's not going anywhere. She's not going to allow all this bullshit to get involved with their relationship. And that's exactly what happened.
This is good. This goes along with my theory that I always say on the show that, ladies, you got to understand that a dude might go and smash some other chicks, but the love is what matters.
And it's hard for me because sometimes I'm like, does that make you a strong woman because you can handle it?
Or weak.
Or does that make you weak because you're allowing these things to happen? But at the end of the day, you can't control that. Like, what the hell are you going to do?
What about you? How do you handle it?
Leave. I mean, I just knew what it was.
No,
I knew
in your
the
own life.
situation.
No, if it happens to you, if your man smashes other girls.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not going to put myself in a committed relationship with a man like that.
Because you couldn't deal with it.
I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Well,
I tried. I dated a basketball player. He moved me to Miami.
Ooh.
Everything was good. Rayford Austin. He's in the book also. And I
Skip to my Lou.
And we Googled the shit out of this guy. Like, we did research. We couldn't find anything. It wasn't until maybe
any dirt on him.
Right.
Okay.
It took me about maybe 8 to 9 months. This was when Sports Talk was this new website blog thing that had came out. And we started hearing all this stuff. At that point, I was like, you know what? I should have known. Like, it is what it is. It's part of the game. He's on the road more than half of the year. What can I expect? But then, I start doing me. It is what it is. I'm not going to have no babies with you. I don't expect to be married to you. These were never the guys that, I might have had a lot of love and cared and had feelings, but at the end of the day.
You knew there was no future.
Yeah, I didn't have children with any of these guys. I didn't try to build anything, in that aspect. If, later on down the line, 10 years into the mix, when he's done with the music industry and he wants to grow up, then yeah, but I knew what it was. If I'm going to mess around with you and we're going to be together, it's shit you're going to have to do, period. And if you're not going to do it, then I'll move on.
Pay for stuff, buy stuff, pay for some of her friend's stuff, buy her friend's stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't need to buy the
You
friend
got
stuff,
it, but you got it. You know what I mean? If I could go with you to a club and you drop 10 racks at a strip club, or you drop 10,000 on bottles, and the next day I ask you for 2,000 to go to the mall or to go do something, and there's a problem, I have a problem with that. I'm sorry.
How do you feel about that, Rosenberg?
I want to go back to that Ciph Sounds and slap the shit out of you.
Why?
To think, no offense, to think that you would have been able to, in any way, handle what she wants.
Listen, she's on the radio. She's turned up for TV.
Don't even try it.
I'm about to compliment you, so shut the fuck up. Ow! She's mad smart, hardworking, nice when you get her alone. Like, Brooklyn people are like, you got to get them alone.
They can't be in
She's
public.
funny. She's nice. Once she gets around a couple people on camera, she got to turn up. You know what I'm saying?
Did you learn that attempting to date guys, for at least partially or a big part of the reason, was so they could give you things, was not a good look?
That wasn't why I dated guys. I dated guys because I liked them. If I come to you and I tell you, we've been seeing each other for 6 months. You come to the house, I cook for you, we hang out, we go to dinner. You pay for all the dinners, you pay for movies, you pay for that stuff. And I come to you one day and I tell you, I need rent, shit got fucked up, a check didn't come, I'm waiting for, it's the music industry. I could be owed $80,000 between 5 labels. And at that point, I'm just waiting for a check to come. And I come to you and say, babe, I need $2,000 to pay the rent. And you got it. And you fuck with me. What you gonna say?
No, I would give it.
Okay then.
That's
so what
fine.
are you
Just-
gonna
what you
now,
gonna
if
say?
you say no,
You're an
I know
asshole.
you don't fuck with me.
No,
Exactly.
I
so why
agree.
am I gonna still
Well, so
be
then
with
clarify
you
this.
and still have you in my crib and all of that, and you don't even want to help a bitch out?
No,
That don't
so
make
clarify
sense.
this. So what you're saying is this. Not that you dated a guy because they had, but if they had, they should be generous with it,
Yes.
with the person they
Let me
love.
say the
If
other
it's
side,
needed,
though.
yes.
Let me say the other
Because
side, though.
I would do it.
Sob
I would
story
do it.
for rent. I understand that. You need to pay your rent. You don't want to be kicked out on the street. But she had dudes paying for her friend's studio time. How's that?
I mean, it was a business venture as far as he was concerned.
How was that return?
If she would have been a hard worker like I was, and if she would have put her all into the situation, something might have come out of it. She might be the next Nicki Minaj.
So
she might have been able to get a deal where they advance her $500,000 and we get a percentage. You know what I mean? I didn't have any paperwork on her because again, that was my friend. I wasn't expecting anything.
But the person paying for it was expecting a return. Oh,
I mean, of
hopefully
course he would have at some point. But like it's in the music industry is like the street game. You putting money in, there's no guarantee the money's gonna come back.
A lot of people are saying that you breaking the code by writing this book. You're not supposed to write a tell-all book. You broke the code.
And in my Joe Budden's voice, what is this code that you speak of?
The code. Well, what is the code to you? What do they say the code is?
There's no code. I've been in this industry for over 15 years, and I've never heard of a code.
Well, you've heard people mention it. There's just no details on what the code is.
So what is it?
I think one part of the code is that we were talking about earlier. If a dude approaches you and says he's married and you agree to get with him, you then are not supposed to ever speak about his wife or significant other.
But what if he does?
What if he
lets everyone know that
so
we're
he
dating?
broke the code.
What is the code? I mean, I heard a Lil Wayne record yesterday where he's saying my new girl gives me head better than Corinne. So he's saying Corinne sucked his dick. He broke the code. I've heard Fab mention plenty of his chicks. You might know that wasn't a chick of his because you don't know them. But when I hear him name, I'm like, I know her. I know. He puts women in a situation where, what if this girl was married? He didn't know if she was married, and he's saying, oh, I would be in her in prime 112. You never know. Look what Drake put that Malaya chick on blast. Oh, are we supposed to feel privileged and honored? Oh, he mentioned me in the song. But when we say shit about them, it's a problem. Like, is it that it just, for me, it just doesn't make sense. And this book is not, I'm not bashing. I'm not saying he's a sucker. You know what I mean? I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just letting you know what my situation was with that person. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he handles every woman like that and he's going to be with every chick that he's with. Right. He handles them that way. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what I went through. And if any young lady, whether you 12, whether you 22, 32, 42, please don't if you want to get into this industry or you feel like, you watch Love and Hip Hop and you watch Samaya and she's struggling, living in the studio, and then you see Chrissy and Emily driving their Bentleys, and as a young girl, what do you want to aspire? Not living in no studio attic. You want to drive the nicer cars and be able to have the nice clothes. So it makes you think, it makes the young ladies feel like this is fabulous and it's wonderful, and this life that they live is just, and 90% of that shit is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's bullshit. It's only for TV or it's only for a video. You see somebody driving a car in the video, some rapper got a song out talking about I woke up in a new Bugatti. You must be in baby's Bugatti.
Don't you have an event?
Yes.
Tell us about the event.
I'm having an event. It's a book signing at Human Books in Harlem. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to come.
When is it?
It's Thursday.
What time?
It's 163 West 125th Street between 7 and 9.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
The 4th or the 5th?
The 4th.
4th.
Why? What are you doing?
I'm going away. I'm going to Europe. But they'll go that day. 4th.
Why can't you just change the date?
Oh, yeah. Yo, Ciph.
Because you should have fucking gave me some.
Yeah, now.
Bam!
No chin-chin, boo-boo.